Welcome back. Our final community conversation for the week with Matthew Gillikin, the co-chair at Livable Cville, getting ready for a webinar when driving isn't an option. So what's the goal of this?
So our group is very interested in making Charlottesville a place that works well for everyone, whether that's housing or transportation. And so when we talk about the bus system or sidewalks or roads, do we want wider roads, narrower roads? We're often talking about, at the end of the day, how do we make it as convenient as possible for drivers? But we want to do a webinar, and we're inviting the community to come on Monday to this webinar we're doing at 6:30 p.m. about people who can't drive for whatever reason, and that's actually probably a third or more of our community. So we really want to highlight the reality that many folks are not able to drive. So how do we create a transportation system in the Charlottesville area that works for those people, rather than having a transportation system that primarily works for drivers and everyone else is left fighting for scraps?
Gotcha. Monday, 6:30, where will this take place?
This will be on Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll talk a little bit about how you can sign up in a minute, I think.
All right, sounds good. You'll have speakers obviously addressing multiple facets of these issues. Who are some of them?
So the main speaker is a woman named Anna Zivert. She wrote a book called When Driving is Not an Option, and she lives in the Pacific Northwest, and she has a visual impairment that makes it so she can't drive. So she's a mom, and she's got to figure out how to get herself and her kids around, and so she's dependent on public transportation and biking and other various ways of getting around that involve her not driving. And so she wrote this excellent little book that combines stories of people who can't drive. It talks about a lot of the research on the topic, and it also gives a lot of very practical solutions that we're trying to think about how we might be able to implement some of those in Charlottesville. And then our other speaker is City Councilor Natalie Oshrin, and she has been a real champion for trying to get people out of their cars and to give them more options. If you see her around town, you'll often catch her on her e-bike. And if you catch her on her e-bike, she might grab you and say, hey, do you want to try my e-bike? But I think that e-bikes are not just something for people who want to be fit. They actually can be a mobility device for people who have trouble getting around. And I think that's something in this webinar we want to highlight, is different ways people can get around town that aren't just driving, as I've said many times.
Right, it's good to have options as a driver, but sometimes, like you mentioned, you need, not just desire, but need a different way to get around.
Disability can creep up at any minute for some people, or that's a chronic issue for folks.
Sure. How can people get signed up for Monday's event?
Go to livablecville.org, and we have a link there. It's a free webinar, and everyone's invited. We have over 70 people signed up already, so it should be a great conversation. All
right, Matthew, appreciate you coming in and giving us a little insight into what's going to take place.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Steve.
Aaron?